Welcome back to Faith and Fire. Today, we start to celebrate the end of the year, and with the end of the year comes the beginning of a brand new year. And as we look at new beginnings, we start to think about our hopes and dreams for the year. Who do I want to be in 2024? What do I look like? Am I fabulous? I think I am. But as I go ahead and think about what my life is going to look like over the next year, I start thinking about how do I manifest those things? How do I bring those into being and call forth what I want and what God has for me in 2024? So to learn a little bit more about that, I've brought in our resident expert, Dr. Joy, who's going to share with us, how do we manifest for the new year? How do we bring in all those hopes and dreams that we have for the next year and bring them to reality? So excited to have you at the table, Dr. Joy. So we know you. We know you're our resident presiding elder. And at the table, we also have Ava. Ava?
Hi.
So Ava, you are a local member of the AME Church, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So we're both ready to learn a little bit from Dr. Joy. And I know you've got something to share about your visions and how you vision board as well. So I'm here for all this, y'all.
This is a fun one.
Okay. So Dr. Joy, tell me a little bit, what is manifesting? What is the origins of it? Where does it come from? Why do I want to do it? Talk to me.
At its core, manifestation or manifesting is just bringing into the present reality things that you want based on your thoughts, your beliefs, your desires.
Ooh, I feel rich, therefore I am. No?
Yes, that starts it. and then there's a process. There are things you need to do because there are principles.
Okay.
There's principles to manifesting. Now, let me go on record and say, a lot of times in the faith community, they don't deal with the word manifestations of.
Ooh.
Because Christ manifested he appeared. It's the appearance, right?
Got it.
But, and then a lot of times manifestation is associated with New Age.
Mm-hmm. How so?
Because it's in the New Age thinking grow rich, and that calling things into the present with spirit guides. There's a whole lot of noise around it. But I'm here as a person of faith to say we all can manifest or co-create the life we want.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Period.
Well, as someone who didn't know all the extra noise was in the space, interesting to know, but I'm going to leave it out of my space and just go straight to the hearing about manifesting. So you talked about that there were some principles and some structure to it. So is manifesting, the same as a vision boarding, a sister to vision boarding? Are they kin?
Vision boarding is a part of it. So the first thing you have to, in manifesting, is you have to get clear. There has to be clarity of what you want. Because if you're calling things in from the universe into your present, you want to be clear on what you're asking for.
Step one, get clear.
Get clear. And that's a whole process in and of itself with, and that's where the vision and the vision board is an exercise that you can do to get clear about what you want to create in your life.
Okay, so vision boarding can be a piece of it, can be the way that you go about getting clear about what you want to manifest.
Correct.
Okay, so Miss Ava, I know that you've had some experience with vision boarding. You want to tell us a little bit about your experience with that?
Sure. It started actually when I was deciding to recommit to the church. I didn't grow up in the church, but at the same time, when I was like, okay, I want to explore going to churches, I want to be in the fold. I guess The Secret came out by Rhonda Byrne. Mm-hmm. And so some of the metaphysical part of it started happening. And I'm like, okay, so The Secret says, you can manifest the life you want. You can do these things. And when I went to church and I started really being involved in church and hearing messages and realizing, wait a minute, if we're asking God in prayer for things or for help with our life, He's co-creating the life that we're wanting. And then learning that when you speak something from your mouth, sometimes those things happen to you and you're co-creating this vision and this spiritual life, and you're reading and you're writing the things that you're bringing into your spirit, what you're watching, who you're around, what you're doing is all impacting what you're manifesting in your life. And so I started realizing, okay, there's something to writing stuff down. There's something to speaking and asking God directly, but even speaking in general. And then as a psychology person, our brain will focus on what we want to focus on. Mm-hmm. So if you're like, I want to buy a red car, guess what? You're going to start seeing that red car in the color you want, in the package you want, driven by other people because you've focused on it.
Yeah.
So I started, like probably 12 years ago, really getting into the practice of being mindful about making vision boards, writing things down that I want, putting things in my car, in my computer, so I can see the things that I actually do want in my life, not the negative things. I stopped watching horror movies because I'm like, you don't want your spirit to be attacked by negative things.
Yeah. You're not manifesting Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. So you brought your vision board with you today. Can you describe what your vision board looks like? What's on it?
Yes. So I actually have 2 vision boards. I bought my biggest one, which actually sits in my living room. It is very big. I used to actually use a wall in my bedroom. I would just tape things to the wall. And this one actually doesn't have anything religious or spiritual per se, but my one in my bathroom does. Basically, I made sure, I collect different magazines from people. You can go on Amazon and other things and actually buy books that have pre-done pictures and sayings. But at the beginning of the year, I make sure, or actually before the end of the year, I make sure to start thinking about what do you actually want to do this year. Basically, on my board, I have everything from relationship things because I'm starting to try to get out and date and whatever. And I'm just you need to be intentional about what you want from that person. And even in what you want them to look like, what you want them to act like. I put it in pictures because I am a very visual person, and that's why vision board works for me. I have this, actually, it sits in front of my TV. So when I'm watching TV, I'm seeing it. On my board, it has, sayings. So in the past episode, when we were talking about grief and who I am, I was in that time of grief realizing I didn't know who I wanted to be. I didn't know the direction I want to go. I'm still in school. And on my vision board, I have a girl that's graduating. I couldn't find one that's a doctoral hood, but I was like, you know what it means. Places that I've been to Paris, but I've been when I was a teenager and a little kid. I haven't been as an adult. So I have the Eiffel Tower. I have, I want a family. So I have a family sitting on a bench together. I have multiple pictures of families on it, trying to explore, as well as, I have material things on there. Yes, I want to carry nice purses and, wear nice perfumes. And I've been able to, with my job, buy those things. And so mentally I cross the things off my list, but also the one that's in my bathroom has more spiritual sayings on them and even favorite scriptures. So when I'm brushing my teeth, I actually can see it in the mirror behind me. It's pinned to the back. And I'm thinking about, are you that person that you have spiritually on this board? Are you growing the way you want to grow? And I feel like the trajectory of sitting there and thinking, okay, last year I came up with that. So I can check that off the list, or these things off the list. And then some of the things are going to make it onto the next vision board. And, knowing that I'm mindful at the beginning of the year and I'm constantly checking on it every day.
Yeah.
In the reflection, that's me. I'm looking at me, but I'm looking at me too behind me.
You're looking at current you in the mirror, and you're looking at future you also kind of in the mirror.
Yeah. And being able, at night and in morning, I'm looking at that and I'm having reflections with God. We're co-creating this. This what I thought, and this is your answer, whatever is going daily, is his response to that board and me.
So do you constantly kind of update it, put new things on there as you get more of the download of the vision, or is it kind of a moment in time?
I have an actual journal that I keep next to my bed. So when I'm praying, I have a prayer journal, and then I also have my manifestation journal, and I actually write, this happened today, and it's on my board, or I thought to put this on the board, but I didn't, but it was still a thought. Yeah. And I write it down. So I'm constantly checking in with God, okay, thanks. We did this,
Well, that's cool.
That is beautiful. You asked, does it change? So when you're sitting down to do your vision board, and just know this is a tool. When you're sitting down to do your vision board, you want to have clarity. So that means you're going to have to get some things out your mind.
Okay.
Right? And you're going to have to create the space where you can then be clear and also take in information. Because some of these things that you're going to see, you're going to have, there's going to have an energy about it that you will attract based upon what you say you want.
It kind of just occurred to me. It's like, this probably goes well with prayer. Like there's probably, in getting that clarity, it's probably something that you want to have a conversation with God and be like, what do you want me to manifest in my life this year? And maybe even ask that question. And so that way, as things are coming to you, you can have that discernment to, not putting the stuff on the board that you want in your earthly fleshly self, which there might be some of that, but like not going full force there. But like, I love that you had your faith journey on there, because sometimes we just let our faith happen. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But it's cool, that level of intentionality. Where do I want to go with my faith? And what direction is it heading in? What do I want it to look like? And so I hadn't thought about manifesting that.
It is all about intention.
Yeah.
When you go around saying intention matters, I intend to be this kind of person. So what do I need to do to be that kind of person?
Yeah.
One of the things, when I say this is a tool, this being a vision board is a tool. A journaling is a tool, but the process says get clear.
Okay.
And that means clearing out gunk in your energy space.
Ooh, this reminds me of the spiritual realm conversation that we had about that spiritual gunk that can just attach onto you. And it makes, and that's exactly what Shari said, right? It does make the situation cloudy, or things can follow you, or bad situations can cling to you.
Exactly. Because, the other thing that people talk about is the law of attraction. Well, before the law of attraction, there are principles to be ready to attract.
Okay.
And that's part of the cleansing. And that's why I think, because of the terminology, it has some metaphysical aspects to it, because you go through a cleanse and you get rid of the spiritual junk or the energy that's not good. But all that's necessary so you can be clear. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with putting on you in your mind for your life that I live in abundance every day.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I manifest. I manifest abundance every day.
Okay. I didn't thought about it that way. So clarity is not just within your mind, but clarity is like the cleansing of the space, the cleansing of your mind, the cleansing of the energy.
Yes. It can even go to the cleansing of your physical space, because too much clutter, it's still clutter.
You want me to clean my house?
Well, when you're deciding what you want to co-create with God, God will tell you what He wants you to do.
He wants me to have a clean house.
Okay. But it's such a beautiful thing. And then some people say, well, how do you know manifestations work? As Ava was mentioned, she checks in. It's not something you do once a year and then you go back to it a year from now. You're checking in, because there are things you need to do to get what you say you wanted.
Yeah. So step 1 was cleanse. What's step 2? What do we do next? After we've cleansed, we wrote our vision board, we cleared our energy. Where do we go next?
You write it down. You get clear, because now you're saying, here's what I want.
Okay. So we're...
So part of that cleansing, let me go back, is things that work against manifesting is fear, doubt, negativity. So in the clearing, you got to get rid of that stuff.
Okay.
Right? And get yourself into a place where you believe what you say you want, because it's coming.
Okay. So what I'm hearing, those are really there are 2 steps of clarity, right? There's the getting clear within your mind, and then there's clearing the space, clearing the energy, clearing the self-doubt, clearing the fear, clearing all of that may arise even as you're creating that vision, right?
Yeah.
You might step back and look at it and be like, I am not going to have Beyonce's body this year. Like, that's just not, what's going to happen. And so clearing that, the doubts, the shoulds, the da-da-da, and if that's truly your intention, getting clear on what is it going to take to get there.
Yeah. But why won't you have, if having a body like Beyonce is what you want, why would you tell yourself you're not going to have it unless, here's the thing, you got to be clear on if you're ready to
You're
work
ready
for it.
Yes, because if Beyonce's on your vision board and next to it is a feast, you can't have those two togetherness.
And so it may not even be Beyonce. It's like, what is it about that you want?
Yeah.
Right? Because then we don't compare ourselves.
Ooh, that social comparison.
Right. Because, go ahead.
When I created that,
Yeah.
I was in a bad space. Like actually didn't have a job. I barely was in my apartment. And I was like, okay, I'm in this bad headspace, but I want to be in a better headspace. So I started praying a lot. I started watching, like, raising my vibration is what a lot of people in the metaphysical world say, but you're raising your vibration when you pray. You're raising your vibration when you sing or dance or whatever, and are in good spaces. And so I started trying to, like, okay, who are good people that I can be around that have good vibrations? And I never feel like, oh, because I'm going through this bad time, they would take me out of that headspace, and helping raise my own vibration to be like, I can't have these things, again. Like, I'm going to get married again. I'm going to be able to buy the nice purse and not worry about, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. But having to go back into my faith again, like, you go to God, you ask him, like, okay, I know what the end of this period is going to be like, and I want it to be great, and I know you want it to be great. So help me raise my vibration back to being happy and having all the things, and really journaling about that. And I think journaling helped me get through some of the negative to be able to do the 2 steps of sitting with God,
Yeah.
then speaking to God, then using the tool to really start, okay, you said this with him, so you got to trust that he's going to figure out what the vehicle is to get you to these things.
Right.
And I think once I started working on it, it was almost cathartic to be like, okay, I've had this conversation with God, and people were like, oh, your board's pretty big. How did you get all these magazines and things? And I wasn't like rich or anything. So I started just asking people, do you have magazines? I have a magazine. And they're like, yeah, I'll take them. And then, it's like $8 on Amazon for this book. And I was like, I want a Black girl book. And most people are like, I can't find people that look like me. And I'm like, I found this book and it's great. And there's different people. And just really knowing that the things came together, the steps came together once I changed my mindset, like, okay, I'm in this bad situation.
So here's the thing that I don't want us to miss is you asked, where is this? Mm-hmm. And when you ask the question, the brain, God, our angels, the universe go about like, oh, that's what she wants. And it starts to show up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In various places that you wouldn't have thought about. Mm-hmm. All of that's part of this. And when people say that, and I know being in the role that I'm in, I'm clear that my call is to not only lead people to Jesus, but to the fullness of God. And in the fullness of God is co-creating the life that you want.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Different.
Yeah.
But we are called to be the fullness, experience the fullness of joy.
Yeah. And I think that's what I meant earlier when I was like saying that I would want to pray before that experience so that it's not that there's anything wrong with worldly things like nice purses and stuff like that. No, not anything like that. But it's more so that I think that last piece that you just said, you articulated it better than I did, which is that I would really want to tap into what does God want for my life. And so that way I'm manifesting that in my board, for me right now, I think the thing I'm manifesting or hoping to manifest in 2024 even fuller is a community of faith-based believers and whatever they may believe, but people of faith coming together and just having a space. And the church is a beautiful space, but I think sometimes we need a space outside of that. Sometimes we just want to kiki with someone else who's also a person of faith, and that is such an important community to have. And I see myself wanting to manifest that. Would I like to carry a nice purse as I do that? Absolutely. we'll revisit Beyonce's body later. But like other things can be on my board, right? But I also want to tune into what God has for me and the journey he has me on and make sure that I have that in my manifestation too, so that I'm putting it out there so that way we can co-create that together. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Beyonce's body, like, I'm going to touch on that real quick. When you visually go back and look at her Lemonade album, we didn't know that she was having all those marital problems and all the issues that she was having. And watching the visual for Lemonade and some of the things, like some of the lyrics of her song, like, I dipped, I bled and I dipped my blood into, on the Bible and did all this stuff that I'm like, what? You did what? But that was part of her spiritual journey of how she felt she was healing from the trauma of her divorce and whatever. And you really listen and you hear that she actually did a lot of sabbaticals where she went and sat in the desert. She went and sat in all sorts of places by herself. Yeah. When, this is a woman that has people everywhere. And, we all would kill for her body, but at the same time, she would kill for some of our lives. Like she would,
I love that you brought that up. And
absolutely.
It's interesting because as you're manifesting, I feel like there's that tendency to want to like pick and choose and say, okay, I want this from this and this from this and this from this. But I think it's important not only to look at, like you were saying earlier, like what does it take to get there, but also the full picture, and not to do something because it's right for you, not because of social comparison, not because you're looking around and you want something that someone else has just because, but is it for you, Right.
And then the things are, because we don't know the cost.
We do not.
Right? And so it becomes, God, I want this body you gave me to be I want it to be healthy. Mm-hmm. I want every cell to operate like you intended it to. And I want blah, blah, blah. So that's what I manifest. I manifest good health every day. Now, when the aches and the pain come, like, I didn't count on that. You know what I mean? But the fact is, when you get to a certain age and you're still in good health, mm-hmm. you understand that part of that is you have a responsibility to eat right.
Yeah.
To do a little exercise, do something. But there's a responsibility that comes along with co-creating. God has God's part.
Yeah.
But we have our part too. We cannot leave it all to God.
It's beautiful because it's kind of like what you were saying earlier about it's going to take some work if you want Beyonce's body. And I think it kind of came full circle of, not only does it take some work, but look at the full picture of what does it take, because if you want Beyonce's body, you might be asking for everything that came with it to get through that journey. You don't know what you're asking for. Yep. And then when you really break it down and look at, well, what do I want about Beyonce's body? Why do I look like Beyonce's body? Like you were saying, maybe it's just that I want to be healthy.
Maybe
that's
and then how does that then contribute to the wholeness of the planet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. How does that continue to uplift people and help lift the vibrations of love on this planet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I know I talk a little differently, but at the end of the day, I love God and I love people.
Mm-hmm. So we get clear. And then, like, I think it's like get clear within and then clear the space, like the fears, the doubts, all of that. And then where do we go from there?
So one of the things that keeps coming back is it's not linear.
Okay.
Because sometimes you have to come back.
So you might kind of go forward, then come back a little bit.
That meme where it's like, right. I'm drawing circles all over the place. And squiggly lines.
Right. It's not like you wash your greens 4 times and you're done.
You wash greens 4 times?
Yes.
Have you had greens in my house?
You want to eat sand and bugs, go for it.
Right.
Protein, girl. Protein. It's the future.
What I'm saying is each of us are different.
Yeah.
Right? We're different people. And so whereas I can learn from other people's experience, somebody has to experience it in order for me to learn from, right? Or maybe you're the person that I used to say I was bent for the body because it seems like I had all the experiences.
What does bent for the body mean?
I get the experience so other people can learn from them.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks for taking one for the team.
Well, I did. I turned that card in.
Oh, okay.
So I no longer have that role.
Just let me know who we're learning from now.
I don't know. So
Tag, not it.
That's right, not it. But the thing is, back to this is that it is a process, and there are things you need to learn about the principles that you need to practice.
Okay.
And then you start to manifest quickly.
Ooh, like how quickly?
Like I'll give you a quick example. On Saturday, I was telling my husband, I need to talk to this particular person. It might have been Sunday. I was saying, oh yeah, I need to call her because I just need to check in with her and talk to her. Monday, she called me.
Oh, if I would need to talk to Tabitha Brown, if she could just slide into my DMs on Instagram, I'd appreciate that. Is that how I manifest it?
No.
Oh, well, I need to keep learning.
What's the purpose of that?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we say things, and that wasn't to cut you down. It was just like to bring it back to, and you want that. Why?
And I think that gets to the iterative nature that you're talking about, is that you may throw things out there and then you may go back and ask, well, why do I want that? And then you may revisit the drawing board and then you move forward again. And then you may come back to that other squiggly line. And so I do see how it becomes a process.
Yeah, because this process really helps you know more about yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How you interact with other people and what people you want. I'm talking about your smaller circle. What people do you want to attract into your life?
You may not make the board.
You may not, but a characteristic is, clear example of that is my husband is a evidence of something I wrote down in my manifestation journal that I wanted to know around my relationships. And I didn't put parameters around what he needed to look like or anything like that. I put parameters around how I needed to feel. I like laughter. I like feeling secure. I like blah, blah, blah. So I'm clear on me. So God, I am going to leave this to you. But I really would like that before this time on my next birthday, that not only has this person, you sent this person to me because I want to be found, that they show up and I know who it is. I know because all the things we're co-creating now, you're preparing him, you're preparing me. Mm-hmm. And if I tell you 3 months to the day of when my birthday was, because I do mine on my birthday. For me, that's my open year. I don't do it on the first. The first I do, so I can know which direction I'm going. But my real ones the ones that I...
More
the desire of your heart.
Yes. Happen on my birthday. Because for me, that was the day that all of heaven was rejoicing when I came into this planet. Sorry. You know what I mean?
Hey, celebrate yourself.
Right. She's going to Earth.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Continue.
But that's the day that heaven rejoiced because I showed up. And so that's the day we get to
She literally described God's gift to the world. But continue.
Hey, we're all God's gift, but
Right.
you should celebrate yourself with God, for sure.
Right. And so because I feel like that, then my birthday becomes the marker for me.
Okay.
My turn around the sun. Oh, here's another turn around the sun. Well, what are we going to do this next turn around the sun?
And how many turns around the sun was that? No, I'm just kidding.
Don't do that. Don't do her like that.
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
I would not, because you're fabulous. So if we are looking to manifest for the new year, how does that work timing wise? Is this something we do as the clock strikes 12? Is this something we do after the new year? Does it even matter?
Time is relative. We create time. I mean, we mark time, right? Because depending on which kind of calendar you're looking at, it's not all the same time. And then there are time zones and you get into all these variances. I would say pick a time and that becomes your time. Going into the new year, do I do it on December 31st? Well, part of this is reflection, right? So you reflect on the year that just passed. What worked? What didn't work? What did you learn that you didn't expect to learn? Who came into your life and what lesson did they bring that was not on your radar at the beginning of the year. Right?
Who needs to exit your life?
That part too, because you'll look and see what's not serving you well.
Yep.
And that's a hard one because sometimes you have to ask God to give you the strength to let it go. Sometimes they'll self-select out. But oftentimes you have to ask for the strength to let it go. And so that reflection then sets you up for what you need to get clearer about for the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So the beginning of the year is a great time. If you want to just jump in, let's just do it at the beginning of the year. It could be the 1st, it could be the 7th. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of options. So
there are options.
yes. So if somebody was doing this for the first time and just needed you to provide just a little bit of guidance, what would be a good way to dip your toe as you're figuring out what works best for you? Is that the beginning of the year, or like, or towards the end of the year as you're reflecting on, putting together your Instagram post of your top memories from the year or whatever you might be doing?
I don't know. I don't know about you, Ava, but I probably wouldn't say wait. I would say if you're interested now, start now.
Just do it. Like, I felt like I needed time to collect things. And again, the reflection of what do I want my board to look like? I got a poster board and I was like, this is not big enough. So the poster board is living in my bathroom. And then that one's living in front of my, in my living room because I needed to see it. And be like, okay, I intentionally started thinking about this. Like, I actually started thinking about it in October on my birthday because I was like, I don't have a job. I don't have these things. What do I want my life to be better? And how do I want God to help me with that? So there was reflection for about a couple of months before I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down during December. And I started working on this. And then probably a little bit after the new year, I finished it. But really, I guess everybody starts talking about New Year's resolutions, and half the things that most people lose weight. They want to, they want this body, they want this mindset. And, all those things take preparation. Yeah. So why wouldn't you prepare for the year that you have coming and reflect on the year that you've just left? So if you are like, I got to do this now, do it now. Mm-hmm. If, waiting to the New Year's isn't for you, do it now. If it's like, oh, okay, I need to have a plan, make a plan. And then know that on this date, I'm going to sit down, and people do vision boxes where they just put it in and then they reach out and see if they've done whatever they pulled out. There's vision prayer ones where people will write prayers or thoughts that they want to work on. There's all sorts of ways to get to, I guess, a plan or a way to manifest. Mm-hmm. But it's all going back to what Pastor Sherilyn said. It's just a tool. It's just, you don't have to have a specific time, a specific way of doing. Just know that you're, I guess, crafting the life that you want, and it has to be your own way. Some people, they actually write or draw. I use magazines. Yeah. But there's so many ways to get to that, and it's on your own time frame.
Okay.
So to answer, if I can do an ancillary answer to that is that if it's on your mind and your heart that you want to know more, I would say start with prayer. Start with sitting with God. Why do I even want this? What are you showing me? Where's the gunk that I need to clean out? Mm-hmm. So I would start there. I would just start and use that time of preparation. What I would not do is go to the internet, look up ways to manifest, and 369 sounds good. Or what about the 0 system or the O system? I wouldn't do that because it's very confusing.
It's a lot. But Google loves me.
I know. And you can, but you're going to fall out of love with it just as
You'll
fast.
Get confused.
Okay. Yes.
There's so many methods and so many TikToks that I'm like,
exactly. That was plan B, TikTok. Yeah. How do we manifest in this year?
But with you. So and your creator. If you're co-creating, don't you want to tap into the creator?
Yeah.
Okay, so start there.
So it sounds like what we need to come together and maybe blend this and do a prayer and manifestation gathering. it sounds like we might need to create something where we can come together. We pray on it, and then we go through it maybe together as people of faith and just help and support each other so we don't get confused in Google. We don't get confused on TikTok, and we can maybe do this thing together. I think that might be a really cool way to approach this. So
at least we learn together.
We will learn together
about the process.
Yeah.
And we learn about a few tools.
Yeah.
And then you choose the one that you want to put into practice.
Yeah. So I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to bring folks together and do a prayer and manifestation together so we can learn how to do this. And then where goes it from there? It's between each of us and God, but I think that I would enjoy that a lot. And so I'm going to invite all my Faith and Fire community to come together so that we can do this thing. Let's manifest for the new year and let's learn how to do it together and then take it and watch how it explodes and blooms and flourishes over the next year.
Absolutely.
I would love that.
May I encourage us something? Because some people may want to dip their toes in it.
Yeah.
And it's a languaging thing. So the prayer and manifestation sounds daunting sometimes. So how about let's co-create the life you want?
Yeah.
Let's learn how to do that. Let's learn how to, does that sound a little, I won't say intimidating. And prayer is a part of that. And getting clear is a part of that. And learning tools is a part of that. But the ultimate thing is you're learning how to co-create the life you want.
Yeah. It's exciting.
I feel like it's easier to have a conversation with God and sit and co-create that way than the TikToks and whatever. Because I'm like, I'm not going to wake up at 9 and write 3 things and then 12 and...
Oh, is that what it tells you to do?
Yes.
That's the
Oh, no.
369
First of all,
method.
that's how you get headaches is you wake up and go to sleep like that.
I'm like, my hand hurts. I don't want to do all there's so many things that are so ridiculous. And I'm like, it takes 5 minutes to sit quiet.
Yeah.
And just be. And God is going to speak to you one way or the other. Or if he's not, it's fine too. But, some of these tools, people are like, oh, she went overboard, I'm sure, when they see my board, when they come to my house, what is this? But I feel like, going back, the cleansing and the sitting, a lot of times we're so busy in our lives, we're not doing that anyway. So we can't hear the direction God wants to walk us in, or sit in whatever we're sitting in. And co-creating, again, you have to have that trust, the faith of sitting. It's giving yourself to an entity that's going to take care of you and trusting. And then the co-creation part is, okay, you've given me the tools. He's giving us the spiritual tools. What we do with the spiritual tools comes out in the manifestation. And some people, they'll have the keys in their hand, but they won't drive the car.
They'll have the keys in their hand and won't drive the car. Okay. Yeah. So I think we got our next steps. So we're going to come together. We're going to learn how to manifest. We're going to pray. We're going to have our time with our co-creator. And then we're going to learn how to co-create together. I love it. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate the conversation today.
It was good. It was fun.
Thank you for joining us today on Faith and Fire. And we hope you enjoyed the episode and are joining us week after week as we continue into 2024. So that way you can see how we manifest. And also we can hear from you and find out how you're manifesting these things in your life. So join us, follow, subscribe so that you can hear more on Faith and Fire.